Hello everyone, now I show you another dish where we use the cooking method baking. So we're gonna prepare a baked fish. In our case we use the barrel fish, but we can also use many other fishes. So what do we need? We need a fish fillet, of course filleted and deboned. Then we need vegetable juliennes. We have here leek, celery, carrots. We need also some lemon slices and some lemon juice, salt and pepper. You could also add, for example, fennel. You cut the fennels into julienne, which is very good for this preparation. We also need some olive oil and white wine. All right. Okay, let's start with the preparation. First we have to season our fish. Always remember, seafood is already salty because of the sea, so we don't use too much salt. And season it a little bit on both sides. A little bit pepper, not too much. Okay. I add a little bit olive oil. Okay, so what we do now is we need parchment paper or wax paper. So at the end it should have this shape. So you have parchment paper like this, and then you simply cut it the shape you want, right? Cut it like this. It depends also on the size of the fish, how big you want it. This is a bit smaller now, but I just show you how to do it. And then you have that, all right? So we have already prepared, as I mentioned already, use either wax paper or parchment paper. So here I have the wax paper. I will brush that with a little bit butter. That will also help for the flavor, not only prevent it from sticking. Then we put this is Chandori fillet on top. Brush it again with some additional soft butter. Okay. And then we add some of our vegetable juliennes. Okay. As I mentioned, fennel would be also good. And we should have some lemon slice for the flavor. I put only one. Put that under. And now simply we move that a bit down. We move it down, and now we will have to tie it up. We start from here, like this, and we go all around. But before we are at the end, we need to add a little bit white wine. Could be even a fish stock. That will create steam, but it will also give you a good flavor. Okay. So I'm almost around. So here I add a little bit white wine. We close it up, and so simple it is. So here we have one more. This time I used parchment paper, right? Okay, and now we wrapped it and we put it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 12 minutes. This portion is not very big. So a fish like this, which is baked in parchment paper, is a very healthy and very tasty cooking method. So we retain all the nutrients and all the flavors. We don't leach out anything. When we poach a fish, or eventually pan fry, we lose certain flavors. So this is a very healthy and tasty cooking method. So then it will be your decision if you would serve that with a sauce or eventually without, or you could serve it with a compound butter or with a salsa or just plain the way we poach it. We can also have a siding such as dill potatoes, boiled or steamed potatoes, could be also pasta eventually. Now, what sauce would go with it? Well, very much ideal would be a Hollandaise sauce, which we taught you already before. A Hollandaise sauce would be always good for a fish like this. You could also make a white wine dill sauce or champagne sauce, where you need a good stock and then you cook your sauce, because you don't have any bun drippings or you don't have any poaching liquid for the sauce. But what I want to show you now is we can also serve that with a compound butter. Compound butters are used for many purposes. It could be for additional flavor, for a grilled meat or fish or baked fish or meat. And you can have many different kind of flavors. Today we're gonna make a chive and mustard compound butter. We could have different herbs. We could have a horseradish compound butter. We could even add sun-dried tomato, olives, anything you wish and any flavor you want to have, or something which goes very well with the particular dish you serve it with. So the reason why I show you the compound butter now, because this is not only, the use is not only for this particular dish, we can also use it for meats. We can use it for roast meats. We can use it, of course, for grilled seafood and meats. So let's now start preparing our compound butter. Compound butter could be also a spread. If you make some canapes or sandwiches instead plain butter, you could use that. Compound butter can also be used as a stuffing, like stuffed chicken breast, like a la Kiev. We can also use compound butter for gratinating, which means we would add an egg yolk, and then we put it on top of the steak, and then we would gratinate it under the salamander. So let's prepare now our chive and mustard butter for our baked fish. So we have, very important is that you have your soft butter which is whipped to a foamy consistency. We did that already. So we place it in a bowl. Now I add chive, a good amount, because we say we want chive. We could also make, for example, a basil butter. And then on a compound butter, a little bit mustard is always good. Now how much you want to use, it really depends on your taste. Since it's seafood, not only for seafood, but even more important now, we add a little bit lemon. We add a little bit Worcestershire sauce, not too much, a few drops only. Then we have salt, right, and some pepper. Now we mix that well, and so easy it is to prepare a compound butter. Now, the butter is very soft now. In fact, the butter is a little bit on the soft side, but it doesn't matter. So how will I serve it? Well, I will have to put it into a shape. In our case, we're gonna pipe it. I will show you that. What I also could do is, I could have aluminum foil, cover it with some, or aluminum foil only. I put my compound butter like this, roll it together, keep it in the chiller, and then I could slice it, all right? But we're gonna pipe it. So before we do that, I need to taste it. Always make sure you taste your food. Okay, that's good. It will be very tasty for our fish. All right, so I will show you now how we do that. We have here a plate covered with plastic. You can use also a tray. For example, if you have a lot, use something like this. Now, I need a star nozzle, a piping bag. If you wish to have it plain, you don't have to use the star nozzle. The plain one can be also. I fold it down so it will not be messy. Hold it like this, and then we fill up the... It is important that it's not too soft, because your hands are warm, so your butter might start melting. I will be still okay, but I have to be fast now. Otherwise, this really will happen. I will scrape everything out, that we don't waste anything. Okay, so put it back. It is not very much. The good thing is this is something you can really make it way in advance, because we're going to put it in the freezer. That's where we can keep it. So now we have our compound butter in the piping bag. So what we're going to do now is we pipe nice rosettes. The size depends really on the fish, also on the portion, and whatever you want. So it should be all the same size. As I mentioned, it's getting really a little bit soft, but we are still okay. It still holds shape. Okay. And what we do now is we keep that in the chiller. And if you don't use it the same day, we put it even in the freezer. Should you need it right away, what you could do is you could put it in ice water. Okay, but we will keep it now for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the chiller, and then we are ready to serve. All right, here we have our compound butter. In this case, it is a chive mustard butter. Okay, so the fish was in the oven now 12 minutes, should be cooked. So let's take it out. Oh, it looks nice. As you can see here, the parchment paper even goes up. This is a bit flat. Doesn't make a difference in terms of taste, but it looks better with the wax paper. All right. So basically what we do now is we serve it that way. And in order to speed up my compound butter to cool down, I placed it in ice water, as you can see here. So then it goes to the table like this. So when you open it, all the aroma, the flavor comes out, right? So then when we serve it, we just open it like this, and you have all the flavors here. And in our case now, we put one nice, should not be too wet, compound butter on top. This will melt, which doesn't matter. It should be melting actually, because that will enhance the flavor. So here we have it. It would be nice actually to serve that with a little bit of small salad with herbs, like a herb mesclun green salad would be beautiful in any dressing. So here we have our baked fish in parchment paper. Very easy actually. You can prepare it in advance, a couple of hours early already, leave it in the chiller, and before you eat, you bake it in the oven. So here we have it, baked fish in parchment paper. By the way, you can also use, salmon is also very good for that, right? But in general, any white fish, but salmon would be also very good for that.